Here we have this LYCEUM wristwatch in beautiful condition. This white dial is immaculate. But does it run? Oh, it's fully wound. Nope. It ain't moving. Let's see. I wonder if it does run. Yeah, it's very gummed up. I've seen enough. Time to... Ooh. Well, since the wireless mic died, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover. So here's all the parts laid out that go to the LYCEUM watch. And now, ready to prepare them for a bath. Here we go. I'm gonna take this, the ultrasonic. And I'm gonna set this to 10 minutes. One drop of oil for the mainspring barrel before I put it on. 1 drop of oil for the mainspring barrel arbor, and a second drop. A touch of 9104 on the first wheel pivot. Time to put on the third wheel. There we go. On the escapement wheel, gotta put that on before the fourth wheel. And here's the fourth wheel going in its pivot hole. There we go. And before we put on the bridge, let's just tidy this up. There we are.
Perfect. A touch of oil for the top of the center wheel. Very nice. Also, gotta check the free movement of the train bridge, and so far it's moving very good. Now let's install the click assembly. Click spring going in. There we go. A touch of 9104 for the click. Click going in. Plop. Another drop of 9104 for the click. And here comes the screw. A very pain in the ass screw, but a screw, and it's in. Now I'm installing the ratchet wheel. Takes a bit, but it will eventually go in, and it's in. Also, this happened when I was screwing in the ratchet wheel screw. The escapement fell out of its pivot hole. So when I took out the escapement capsule, it caused it to come out of its jewel hole because the cap wasn't on. So note to self, keep the cap on. Also, let's speed this up and watch it go even more faster. Whee! Also, let's get rid of that annoying piece of hair before it causes hell for me. Very gently. There we go. Gone. Perfect. Now I'm preparing to oil the escapement capsule, and as you can see, it's got an old thing of oil still on it, so let's clean that. And what better way to clean the capsule with your good friend Mr. Pegwood. Scrubbity scrub scrub, goodbye fucking oil, bye bye. And after a bath in IPA, it's looking nice and clean. Alright, let's oil this beauty. Just a drop of 9010. Perfect! That is beautiful.
Okay, got the crown in, so you can see that works.
A dab of 9104 for the clutch lever. A small dab of Molykote DX grease for the setting lever. Now putting in the clutch lever. Just a little nudge, and there we go. Let's just nudge that in there, and in it goes. There we are. And a dab of Molykote DX grease for the clutch lever. There, I'm gonna engage the spring. Gonna put a toothpick over the spring to prevent it from flying at me. And just a little nudge. I should be able to get this in. Up, there we go. Now the fun part. Time to remove the toothpick. And there we go. Wow, that wasn't as bad. Now to put the clutch lever into the clutch. Very carefully. Oh. Damn. Alright, second time's the charm. Let's see if I can get this in. Thankfully I found the spring. There we are. Perfect. Alright, that's done. A nice small dab of 9104 for the intermediate wheel. There we are. And a dab of Molykote DX grease under the intermediate wheel to prevent wear. A dab of 9104 for the minute wheel pivot, and Molykote DX grease for the bottom of the minute wheel to prevent wear, and a drop of 9010 for the third wheel jewel. Now I'm putting the screw in for the set lever bridge jumper. Keyless Works is working a treat, nice and smooth. Alright, let's finish it up. Small coat of Molykote DX grease for the cannon pinion post, pushing on the cannon pinion. There we go.
Now to grab the pallet fork and soak it in that.
Now to put in the nicely cleaned pallet fork. It's a bit tricky, but it will eventually go in. I think the pallet fork is the most easiest to get into its pivot holes. Now to put in the pallet fork bridge with no oil. You don't want oil in that jewel. There we go. Free movement. Perfect. After getting the bounce assembly on, the watch would not run, the bounce would not spin, it just acted like it was stuck on something. Do you see what I see? The hairspring is touching the bounce. No wonder it's not running. We need to correct this. Oh boy. Well, taking the bounce wheel off its cock, you can see it's out around.
Alright, I'm starting to get somewhere with this. I'm trying to straighten this hairspring because it was bent out of whack, and I finally got this part not touching. So now I gotta bend this down, and it should stretch and conform a perfect circle. So this is gonna take some time. I'm learning now. There's our pain in the ass hairspring. So let me mess around with this and I'll come back to you once I make it perfect. Alright, not bad so far. It's getting better. They're no longer touching. So I'm getting somewhere with this. I got the hairspring done. Now the circle isn't really fully concentric, but it's good enough. I mean, it's not touching anymore, so that's nice. So I'm gonna put it in the watch, and I'm gonna get the bounce cock put back on with the spring, and we'll see if I made worky.
Well, after putting the mainspring in, it would run for a second and then stop. But if you have a keen eye, I'm sure you'll see the problem right here. Just pay attention to this. What's the problem with this? Yeah, well, that happened. Now worky? Yup. Gotta love it.
We have life. The 1940s LYCEUM wristwatch lives again. I already just oiled my jewels, and I'm quite happy with this. However, I have to take it apart because I didn't oil the top cap jewel for the hairspring, so I gotta do that. But just recording my success before I potentially fuck it up. Let's hope I don't do that though. Knock on wood. But I'm pleased with this. Finally, some bit of success.
Alright, let's get this top cap jewel out. Gotta unscrew it out of its post. Also, this happened. Whoop! A little bit too much on the trigger finger. Also, that piece of hair was a nice decorative touch. Let's try it this way with definitely a real piece of Rodico. That's definitely real Rodico. I don't care what anybody says, but get that 9010 on there. Perfect. Now the fun part, getting the bounce cock back on the jewel. Oh, very carefully, just finesse. Just a finesse. And there we go, aligned. And one last thing, time to send it home and tight. This also happened again. I'm gonna have to improve my bounce positioning skills. It wasn't also fully free apparently. Now it runs, look at that. Beautiful!
Look at that snazzy looking watch. That's put back together. Let's put it in its case. And there it is. In all of its beauty. The LYCEUM, I don't even know what caliper this is. I probably will do research, but fits good on the wrists. Looks amazing. I cleaned up the crystal, and we'll see how good it keeps time. This could possibly keep better time than the Sakentron, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'll check back with you once I see how well this keeps time. The results are in for the LYCEUM. 1940's wristwatch. It is losing 2 seconds a day, so we're going to regulate it. There we go. Pry out a screwdriver with the case. It's running like a top still. So I'm going to regulate this watch. So we need to make it slower. We got to make this watch slower, so we'll move it just a smidgen, and we'll see what that gives us. There we go. Now I'll come back to you once I see if that's improved. Alright, I'll update on the LYCEUM wristwatch from the 1940s. It is keeping very good time now. I have it regulated successfully. I don't have a time grapher, so I just do it the old-fashioned way by setting the time back and then adjusting the regulator as follows, as it tells me if it's incorrect, what's incorrect or not. Also, the LYCEUM wristwatch is kicking the Accutron's ass by about... The LYCEUM, I don't even think loses 2 seconds at all. The Accutron's still a little bit too fast by about a minute. So, it needs an oil and a clean and properly phased. That'll be coming up very soon. I just got a few more wristwatches I need to fix before I dive into the Accutron fully. But yes, the LYCEUM wristwatch is working wonderfully and it is perfectly keeping time. And I've been using it for about 3 days now and it hasn't failed me. And the Accutron, it works, but it needs a service badly, a proper one, not a half-ass one like in that video I just recently uploaded. So that's been the update on the LYCEUM wristwatch. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time with another wristwatch, more than likely.